Have you ever stopped to wonder why, in a world where so many people live paycheck to paycheck, some cultures seem to move through life with more balance, less chaos? Take Japan, for example. In a country where space is limited and efficiency is part of the culture, the Japanese have cultivated a way of life that isn't just about having less, it's about living better. It's not magic, and it's not just aesthetics. The secret lies in something much deeper: how they view consumption, comfort, and what truly matters. Minimalism in Japan isn't a trendy Pinterest board or a phase, it's a mindset. A quiet rebellion against the noise of excess. A way to save more, stress less, and ultimately create a life that feels lighter, calmer, more intentional. And here's the good news: you don't have to move to Tokyo to live this way. Anyone, yes, even you, can adopt the practical habits that underpin this philosophy. So, if you're tired of feeling like your money controls you instead of the other way around, stick with me. What you're about to discover could shift the way you think about spending, space, and yourself. 1. Minimalism is smart, not restrictive. Let's get one thing clear. Minimalism isn't about living with nothing. It's not about sleeping on the floor, owning one fork, or wearing the same outfit every day unless that's what you want. Real minimalism, the kind practiced deeply in Japan, isn't extreme. It's intentional. It's about asking a simple but powerful question: what truly adds value to my life? You see, in the West, minimalism often gets misinterpreted as a sacrifice. But in reality, it's a kind of freedom. It's not about restriction, it's about focus. Focus on what matters. Focus on what supports your peace, your values, your well-being. In Japan, this mindset shows up everywhere, from the way homes are designed to how people approach their daily routines. There's a quiet clarity in it. They don't aim to strip life down to the bare minimum, they aim to strip away the noise. Think about it. How often do we hold on to things physical or emotional that weigh us down? Not because they serve us, but because we're used to them. What if instead of asking, "What can I get rid of?" we asked, "What do I truly need?" That shift in mindset changes everything. Minimalism becomes a filter, a lens through which we evaluate what stays and what goes. And the reward? Less stress, fewer distractions, more room for presence, clarity, and even joy. So, no, minimalism isn't about doing without. It's about doing better with less. Because when you focus on what's essential, you discover just how rich your life already is. 2. Choose quality over quantity. Let me ask you something. How many times have you bought something cheap on impulse only to replace it a few months later because it broke, didn't work well, or just lost its appeal? Most of us have been there. It's the illusion of saving money, but in reality, it costs more in the long run: more money, more time, and more stress. In Japan, there's a quiet principle that shapes everyday life: choose quality over quantity. It's not about having 5 versions of the same thing. It's about having one item that works beautifully, lasts long, and brings a sense of satisfaction every time you use it. Whether it's a ceramic teacup, a tailored coat, or even a set of kitchen knives, the focus is on function, beauty, and durability. And this changes everything, because when you start investing in fewer but better things, something unexpected happens. You buy less, you throw away less, and you save more. It's a mindset shift. Instead of thinking, "What's the cheapest option right now?" you ask, "What's the best option for the long term?" And this isn't just about money, it's about peace of mind, knowing that what you own is reliable, that it was chosen with care, and that you won't have to think about replacing it next month. You begin to build a home and a life filled only with things that matter. So next time you're tempted by a quick deal or a trending gadget, pause. Ask yourself, does this add real value to my life, or is it just filling space? 3. Respect what you own. We live in a culture that treats most things as disposable. A coffee maker breaks, toss it. A sweater has a tear, replace it. Even relationships sometimes move on when things get inconvenient. But the Japanese approach this differently. They have a quiet reverence for the objects in their lives, not in a sentimental or superstitious way, but from a place of respect and responsibility. Every item they bring into their home is chosen with care, and once it's there, it's valued, used, maintained, repaired when possible. It's a mindset that says, This object serves me, and I'll serve it in return. And that changes everything. Instead of seeing things as temporary, you start to see them as worthy of care, of attention, of time. There's even a word in Japanese, motenai, which expresses regret over waste. It's a reminder to not take for granted the resources, energy, and effort that went into creating something. Think about it. How often do we upgrade our phone just because a newer model exists? How many shirts do we buy when we already have more than enough? We live in a cycle of endless replacing. But what if we simply took better care of what we already own? By repairing instead of replacing, by using instead of discarding, we not only reduce long-term costs, we also retrain our minds to appreciate the enoughness of what we already have. And here's the beautiful part. This practice isn't just good for your wallet, it's good for the planet. Less waste, less consumption, more intention. When you start to treat your belongings as partners, not placeholders, your relationship with money and the world around you begins to change. 4. Avoid unnecessary spending. Let's be honest. How many times have you clicked Add to Cart? Not because you needed something, but because it was on sale. Or maybe you were bored, or stressed, or just wanted to feel something. We've all done it, and at first, those small purchases seem harmless. A $12 candle, a $20 shirt, a gadget you saw on TikTok that promised to change your life. But over time, those tiny decisions stack up, and not just on your credit card. They begin to clutter your space, your mind, and your life. In Japan, there's a deeply ingrained awareness of this. The idea is simple but powerful. Don't buy something just because it's cheap or convenient. Buy it because it serves a clear, intentional purpose. This mindset acts as a pause button in a world that's always rushing toward the next thing. It encourages you to ask, do I really need this? Or am I trying to fill something else? What's brilliant about the Japanese approach is that it sees consumption not just as a financial decision, but a psychological one. Every unneeded item is a distraction. Every careless purchase is a missed opportunity to invest in something truly meaningful like experiences, rest, or even peace of mind. When you adopt this kind of clarity, you don't just spend less. You feel lighter. It's not about guilt, it's about waking up. About realizing that most of what we buy adds more noise than value. So the next time you're tempted by a flash sale or a dopamine hit in a package, stop, take a breath, and ask yourself, will this add something meaningful to my life or just to the clutter? 5. A tidy home reflects a tidy mind. Have you ever opened a drawer, searching for something simple like a pen or a charger, only to find a tangled mess of things you forgot you even owned? That small moment of frustration, it builds. And it doesn't just cost you time, it quietly costs you money too. Because every time we lose track of what we already have, we end up buying something we didn't need. That extra spatula, another bottle of shampoo, a pair of headphones just because you couldn't find the first pair. The Japanese understand something that often goes overlooked in the West. Physical clutter creates mental clutter, and disorganization often leads to unnecessary spending. In Japan, keeping your home neat and minimal isn't just about appearances, it's about function. When your space is in order, your thoughts follow. You become more aware of what you own, what you use, and what you truly value. And here's the surprising part. When you tidy your space, you often find that you want less. You feel calmer. You're more intentional. You stop seeking dopamine hits through shopping, because the clarity around you creates a kind of quiet contentment within you. Think of your home as a financial dashboard. Every item in sight is a data point. Too many items? That's information. Duplicates? That's a sign. Empty, clean surfaces? That's breathing room for both your wallet and your mind. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed by money, try starting with your surroundings. Clean one shelf, one closet, one corner. Because when the outside gets clearer, the inside often follows. 6. Appreciate what you already have. Here's a simple idea that's surprisingly powerful. Before you buy something new, pause and look around. Open your closet, scan your kitchen shelves, pull open that drawer you always avoid. You might be surprised, maybe even a little embarrassed by how much is already there. Things you've barely used, things you forgot you had, things you once thought would change your life. And now just sit, collecting dust. The Japanese have a quiet habit. They reflect before they consume. It's not about guilt, it's about awareness. They ask themselves, do I already own something that serves this purpose? Does this item still hold value in my life? That pause, those questions can save you more than money. They can save you from unconscious consumption, from that automatic urge to fill space or fill a feeling. Because so often, we shop not out of need, but out of habit. A moment of boredom, a stressful day, a fleeting desire to feel new again. But when you learn to really see what you already have, something shifts. You start to feel more grounded, more content. You stop chasing the next thing and begin appreciating the now. I once found a beautiful notebook tucked away in a drawer, still blank. I had bought it years ago thinking it would somehow make me more creative, but I never used it, and I realized I didn't need a new notebook. I needed a new mindset. So the next time you're tempted to click buy now, take a step back. Look at what you already own. You might find that what you were looking for was already right in front of you. 7. Spend on experiences, not things. If you look back on your happiest memories, what do you see? Is it a brand new gadget, a shopping spree, or is it something quieter? A walk with someone you love, a slow breakfast on a quiet morning, that deep conversation over coffee that made you feel seen. In Japan, there's a subtle wisdom in how people spend not just money, but attention. They don't chase after material possessions to feel fulfilled. Instead, they invest in experiences that nourish the soul and last far beyond a receipt. This might look like a beautifully prepared meal shared with family, or a walk through a peaceful park where the stillness is the reward. It could be something as simple as brewing tea with care, then sitting in silence to enjoy it. It's not grand, it's not loud, but it's meaningful. And the feeling it creates, that quiet sense of contentment, is far more lasting than the thrill of a new purchase. Here's the thing, material items lose their shine fast. That excitement fades. But the moments that connect us to others or to ourselves, those stay. In the West, we're often told that happiness comes from more stuff, more speed, more noise. But what if real happiness is about less? Less distraction, less accumulation, and more presence? So, before you buy something new to treat yourself, ask, what kind of experience would truly feed your life today? Is it dinner with a friend, a solo hike, a moment to breathe? You might find that your soul is hungry, not for more things, but for more moments. 8. Find joy in everyday rituals. Sometimes it's not the big things that change your life, it's the small ones, the quiet ones. The ones that don't scream for attention, but slowly, gently shift the way you feel about your day, your space, yourself. The Japanese understand this beautifully. Instead of chasing happiness through constant activity or consumption, they've learned to create joy through ritual. And not the kind of ritual that takes hours or requires effort, simple ones. Like brewing tea with presence, tidying a corner of a room with care, or sitting in stillness just breathing with no agenda. These small acts ground you. They remind you that peace isn't something you need to buy. It's something you can build, slowly, from the inside out. And here's why that matters. Many of us have been conditioned to spend in order to soothe. Bad day? Buy something, feeling tired. Order takeout, stressed. Click, add to cart. But what if instead of reaching for your wallet, you reach for a ritual? What if you could replace emotional spending with emotional presence? Maybe for you, it's a morning walk, a journal by your bedside, a warm bath with soft music. None of these cost much, but they carry weight. They anchor you. By turning everyday moments into quiet rituals, you create a life that doesn't need rescuing by shopping sprees or distractions. You create a rhythm, one that brings you back to yourself. So the next time you feel the urge to escape into consumption, try turning inward instead. Sip something warm. Organize one drawer. Step outside for 5 minutes of sky and silence. You might find that what you truly needed was already within reach. 9. Practice conscious detachment. We tend to hold on to things, memories, clutter, identities long after they've stopped serving us. And sometimes, without even realizing it, we fill our homes and our lives with what we no longer need, simply because we're afraid to let go. But in Japan, there's a beautiful counterbalance to this instinct. It's called conscious detachment. It's not about cold minimalism or emotional distance. It's about recognizing that space is valuable, that every inch of your home, every item on your shelf, is part of your energy, your life. And when space is treated with respect, it transforms into something sacred. That's why Japanese homes often feel so calm. Not because they lack things, but because they only keep what matters. They don't fill shelves for the sake of fullness. They curate their environment to reflect function, beauty, and purpose. Before buying something new, they ask, will this object bring ongoing value or just temporary satisfaction? And equally important, is there something I can let go of to make space for what's next? Letting go becomes a regular rhythm, not a dramatic purge, just a soft, steady habit, donating what no longer serves, selling what still has value, and recycling with mindfulness. It's the opposite of emotional hoarding. It's emotional clarity. And here's the deeper truth. When you start practicing conscious detachment with physical things, it spills into other areas. You stop clinging to old versions of yourself. You begin releasing habits that drain you. You give yourself permission to evolve. So, take a look around. What are you holding on to? Not because it's useful, but because it's familiar. Maybe today is the day you choose space over stuff, stillness over noise, freedom over excess. 10. Repair before you replace. We live in a world that moves fast, faster than we can keep up. And when something breaks, whether it's a chair, a shirt, or even a relationship, our first instinct is often to replace it. It's easier, it's quicker, it fits the rhythm of our pace. But in Japan, there's a different rhythm, a quieter one that asks, can this be repaired before it's discarded? It's a small question, but it holds big meaning. From mending a sock to gluing a broken teacup, the Japanese often choose to care for what they already have, rather than toss it out at the first sign of imperfection. And it's not just about being frugal though. Yes, this mindset saves money over time. It's about being mindful, about showing respect for the energy, time, and materials that went into creating something. There's a beautiful tradition called kintsugi, the art of repairing broken pottery with gold. Instead of hiding the cracks, the Japanese highlight them. Because the flaw isn't something to be ashamed of, it's part of the story. This way of thinking changes how we engage with the world. We stop seeing broken as worthless. We start seeing it as an invitation to slow down, to care more deeply, to invest attention where it matters. And this principle applies far beyond objects. A frayed sweater, a scratched table, a relationship under strain. Sometimes they're not ready for the trash. Sometimes they just need time, patience, and a bit of gold in the cracks. So, before you throw something away, ask, can I repair this? Can I give it a second life instead of giving up on it too soon? Because in choosing to restore, we quietly choose to honor. 11. Less stuff, more life. There's a quiet kind of power in choosing less. Less noise, less maintenance, less chasing. And yet, in today's world, that idea almost feels rebellious. We're constantly told that more is better, more stuff, more hustle, more upgrades. But what if the opposite is true? In Japanese culture, there's a deep understanding that simplicity doesn't mean sacrifice, it means space. And with space comes freedom, because here's what fewer possessions really offer. Less to clean, less to fix, less to ensure, organize, protect, and worry about. Every object you own demands something from you, your time, your energy, your attention. When your home is overflowing, your mind often is too. But when your space is intentional, your life feels lighter. And in that lightness, quality begins to rise. Quality in how you spend your time. Quality in what you choose to bring into your life. Quality in the relationships you nurture and the routines you build. Minimalism in this sense isn't about strict rules or stark living rooms. It's about clarity, about knowing what truly matters to you and letting go of the rest. Not because you're giving up, but because you're making room. Room to breathe, room to focus, room to live more deeply with less. So, the next time you feel that familiar urge to add another subscription, another device, another pair of shoes, pause. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to choose less, but better? Because maybe, just maybe, The less you carry, the more you can finally feel free. Take a slow look around your home. Is there something sitting on a shelf untouched for months? A drawer full of things you forgot you owned? An online order that felt like a treat in the moment but now just takes up space? You're not alone. We've all done it. But the beauty of Japanese minimalism is that it doesn't ask you to fix everything overnight. It invites you to begin, gently, intentionally. Start with one corner, one drawer, one question. Do I still need this? Then move outward from your space, to your spending, to your habits. You'll be surprised by how a small shift like organizing your desk or saying no to the next impulse buy can ripple out into a clearer, calmer financial life. Minimalism isn't about living with nothing. It's about living with what truly matters. And that shift from excess to essence can change everything. You spend less because you need less. And you need less because you've finally learned how to make space for peace, purpose, and presence. So, no. Live more, spend less isn't just a Pinterest quote. It's a quiet revolution, one that starts not out there, but right where you are. And maybe today, that revolution begins with you.